please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Hi, a very good morning. You're watching Trading Hour on CNBC TV18. I'm Ekta Batra and Prashant Nair will be joining me very soon. Well, it's turning out to be quite a consolidatory session, and just to give you a sense, it's the entire Asian basket which seems to be washed out in today's trade, and that's no pun intended in terms of what's going on outside. But nonetheless, we have the Hang Seng, which is down 2.5%. Remember, it opened after a day of holidays. Shanghai, which is now down 16% on a year-to-date basis, is suffering today as well. And something like the Japanese markets, which is down 1%. If you're talking about specific stocks, the PSU Bank Index is not showing that much in terms of a gain. So stocks such as IDBI Bank are down and out, down around 5.8%. State Bank of India, BOB, PNB, as you can see on your screen. Something like a Vedanta is declining as well, and stocks such as 8K Miles and Fortis continue to be in focus on account of impending news or clarifications which are not helping 8K Miles in any form or fashion. Hi, Prashant.
Ekta, hi. So off the lows, definitely, and let's see if the recovery does last or not. But, I just want to highlight a few things, and this is all global in nature. Things are not all well. Not all kosher at all. Look at the Chinese markets, first of all, right? The Asian markets. Look at China, look at Japan, the two biggest markets, right? Which would set the tone, you would imagine, to in terms of what is happening in the rest of the Asian market peers. China is already over 20% off the technical classic definition of a bear market. You look at what's happening with Hang Seng, which is down 2.25%, and Japan has also sort of broken down. There are it's breaking as we speak, breaking through the neckline of a head and shoulder, which indicates that there might be more fall to come. The big fall on the Japanese market happened yesterday. It's recovered from the lows today, but if you speak with technicians, they'll tell you that, well, there is, the pattern is looking pretty bearish, to put it very simply. So those are some of the biggest markets in Asia. You look at the currency, which is the yuan. The yuan, which is traded offshore, the dollar CNH currency cross, it has sort of gone through some important, which essentially what's happening there is that the dollar is strengthening and there seems to be no stopping. Over the last 2 days, the yuan has lost another 1% odd in terms of value against the dollar. It's seen and of course, over the last many days, it's seen a pretty large move, 6-7% or so. So, we had data, the manufacturing PMI out of China, which came through, which actually fell. It's still in the expansionary zone, but it fell month on month. So you add all of this together, and to me, it doesn't look like a very comforting kind of picture with what global markets are doing. Forget about what they're implying as far as underlying fundamentals go, but just look at some of these things, and it doesn't give a very comforting picture. Even the S&P, for that matter, 2802 odd was an important high. It was an important resistance level, simply because it was a recent trend high. It hit that level and started to fall again. So again, it's not been able to successfully take out an important recent trend high sort of level. So let's see. Maybe things will reverse. Maybe things will start to
indicating that maybe it could be a little bit subdued at this point in time. Let's see whether it extends in terms of losses.
I interviewed the Nasdaq CEO yesterday, and I asked her whether she has, and she's got 20 years of experience in financial markets, and I said whether it's finally looking like this global expansion, both economy-wise and market-wise, is starting to look a little bit on shakier grounds. Well, she didn't give a clear answer, but she didn't sort of refute that either. She said, well, we're increasingly starting to get the feedback that maybe it's running into some rough weather because of a variety of reasons.
The US markets.
Out there, the US markets, the Nasdaq and the other big indices there.
Okay, well, back home for our markets, the Nifty is at 10,684. We have Sudarshan Sukhani joining in to tell us what he's strategizing. Well, Sudarshan, you're lucky you're not in Bombay and facing all of this rain. So tell us, what are you recommending on the technicals, the Nifty as well as stocks?
Yeah, good morning again. See, the markets are likely to remain in, the Nifty and the Nifty Bank are likely to remain in a narrow trading range today. So essentially, there is a buying opportunity if the Nifty falls towards 10,640 or between 640 and 650. That's an intraday dip. Otherwise, we leave the indices alone. They could be choppy, and in any case, they are likely to be narrow. After 3 days of wide ranges and volatility, markets are likely to go into a huddle. So the index is left alone. individual stocks will always offer opportunities. Vedant is a short sell. You just see how metals are behaving. Vedant, Hindustan Zinc, then Hindalco, all of them are suggesting NMDC, lower levels are coming. They are in some kind of a mini bear market. So for today, consider going short in Vedant. Then KPIT is a buy. Midcap IT continues to outperform, and that outperformance will continue so far as they are stars of this market. So KPIT is a buying opportunity, and so is UBL. UBL and United Spirits, both are attractive opportunities. For today, UBL is probably the preferred one for the trade that we are setting up today. 2 buys, 1 sell, and a general avoid today on the Nifty.
Okay, Sudarshan, thanks very much. Appreciate you joining in, and we speak again soon. By the way, I mean, Sudarshan did point out the fact about metal stocks looking weak. The fact is that underlying base metal prices are also looking pretty wobbly, be it something like copper or even a few others. That big bullishness is out of these underlying commodity prices. You can look at the LME prices or other indices. We will get you more strategies. CA Rudramurthy with Vachna Investments is with us. Rudramurthy, good morning. Your thoughts on the Nifty at an aggregate level, and what would you trade?
See, for me, what is very clear is after breaking 10,710, which was a crucial support on Nifty futures, we came down and tested levels closer to 10,600. For me, 10,590 is a very strong support on Nifty futures, and too much of consensus is seen on the short side. Even though fundamental data is very weak, for me, for a very short-term trade, psychology of market is very, very important, and I won't be surprised if we see huge retracement and shorts getting trapped. And also I see market staying for positional bet on the sideway range. So I'm seeing a Nifty strangle. 10,900 call can be sold. I don't expect market to go above 10,900, and premiums of 42 rupees is available at current level to eat that premium. And also one can sell a 10,300 put option and again eat the entire premium available, which is currently at around 36 rupees. Totally you can pocket around 80 rupee premium and expect a target of entirely these premiums going to zero by expiry, and one can have a stop loss of 120. And when it comes to my stock specific call, I am very bullish on Shriram Transport. This stock is finding strong support, and Shriram Transport is currently headed towards levels of 1,360. And today I am seeing lot of addition in open interest on the positive side and stock bouncing from a strong support. Short covering can also be clearly seen in Shriram Transport. One can buy this stock for a target of 1,360 with a stop loss of 1,300. I also have a buy call on Dabur. This stock has a strong support at 375, which should hold, and at current level it is a great opportunity to buy Dabur. Look at targets of 394 with a stop loss of 375. I also have a buy call on McDowell, and this stock can look at targets of 670 with a stop loss of 649. And just to have a weak stock to hedge my portfolio, because I have 3 long calls in future, I am going short on SRF. This stock has broken all important supports. Look at 1570 target with stop loss of 1,665.
Okay, all right, Rudramurthy, we're going to leave it on that note. Thanks very much for joining in and taking us through all of those recommendations. But the PSU banks continue to be in focus. This is as Sunil Mehta panel has recommended a 5-pronged strategy to tackle stressed assets. Suggestions include creation of an asset management company for large assets with exposure of over 500 crores and a potential for a turnaround in those assets. Also, creation of an asset trading platform is a part of the plan. Let's hear out what the man himself, Mr. Sunil Mehta, had to tell us.
Private equity investors or large institutional investors. So they have shown interest in this, and that encouraged us to sort of go ahead with this recommendation. So I am quite hopeful that this, as we sort of move down this line, that the domestic or international private equity investors will join in. And in any case, it is not intended that it should be completely funded by global investors. So there will be domestic participation. It's not sort of that we are dependent on the public sector bank. So domestic institutions will also, and private sector banks may also come in and participate in this. ARC here is only really a pass-through. And it's eventually the whole objective is that the AMC AIF structure takes this on. We're not suggesting that it will be one AMC or one AIF. It could several, depending on the interest that the market shows in it. The ARC role is limited to that 60-day period. So as long as we have an ARC that is available to sort of put this through into the AMC AIF structure, I think that's really where the ARC comes in.
Okay, that's the opinion coming on what was announced. Well, take a look at what's happening on the Nifty very quickly, and then we'll talk about the other big story, which, I mean, inevitably affects everybody in Mumbai one way or the other. I mean, the market is recovering and it's actually spiking a little bit more from the time that we started at 11. The other story that I'm referring to, of course, is the rains. I mean, it's been pouring since last night in Mumbai, and it's still pouring as we speak. Those are visuals coming in from the last couple of hours or so. I mean, recent pictures. What's the situation on the ground? Yash Jain, my colleague, is right here in the studios, but he's essentially been following the feedback that we get on social media from commuters on rail networks in Mumbai. He's been sort of speaking with railway officials, and he's got a compilation of what the situation, especially with regards to train services, is at this point in time. Yes, what's the update?
Well, Prashant, obviously it started raining last evening. It has rained through the course of night, and of course it's continued thereafter. And as a result of these heavy rain, the immediate impact which we got to see is the unfortunate event which happened at Andheri, where the footover bridge, a part of that bridge, collapsed on the railway track, essentially blocking the movement of trains as far as that particular track is concerned. Now, as far as that particular situation is concerned, what I've been given to understand from officials which are working on ground is that all the teams, including the RPF, BMC, as well as the NDRF, the National Disaster Relief Management Team, have been working and doing the rescue operation. So far, the update is that 6 individuals have been injured and 2 are seriously injured and have been admitted into the ICU ward as far as that particular situation is concerned. As far as movement of trains is concerned, on the Western line, I'm given to understand that trains are running between Churchgate to Borivali, and on the other side of Andheri, what we're given to understand is that they are running between Borivali to Virar. There is no sort of delay or anything, but yes, the midpoint Andheri is where you see that the blockage coming and trains not functioning as far as that part is concerned. As far as the central region is concerned, we are given to understand that CST to Goregaon is where the trains are running, but of course there's a major delay of about half an hour as far as movement of these trains are concerned. Also, as far as the roads are concerned, the streets of Mumbai, the heavy rains have resulted in waterlogging and eventually heavy traffic as far as the usual suspects are concerned. All the roads leading to the airport, of course, Shyam Talav, Hind Mata, Oberoi Mall, CST, Kurla, the SCLR road, all of them are facing heavy traffic, and of course Mumbai police has been constantly advising commuters to not take these roads as far as commuting is concerned. One very useful piece of advice to all commuters in the city of Mumbai: please keep following 2 important handles as far as today is concerned. One is of the railway, Central Railway, as well as the Mumbai police, for getting constant updates as far as movement of traffic is concerned, and also as far as movement of trains are concerned.
Okay, Yash, thanks very much for that. Well, I'm just hoping it's not as bad as the 29th of August, which was not even a...
Okay, the market has picked up, I mean, actually quite a bit. The Nifty will tell you that. When we started, we were up 15, 16 points. We're up 46 now. So there is a substantial pickup on the Nifty. We should actually put up what's moving the Nifty to begin with to see, what is contributing maximum to this pickup that we're seeing. Is it again, I mean, the HDFC twins, TCS and names like those, or is it something else? I think we have, on your screen. So Reliance, top of the list, Infosys, TCS, HDFC Bank. So there are a few usual suspects. HDFC Limited is on the other side. It's down about 4.5%. But this is looking better, a lot better from where we were trading earlier on. Also, let's look at the Bank Nifty intraday, followed by mid-cap intraday and the small-cap intraday, the indices, because there is a pickup. The Bank Nifty is at the high point of the day, a sharp shoot up, and almost all of it coming in the last 15 minutes. 68 points, it's off the lows quite a bit. That's essentially what's moving that index. HDFC Bank tops the list, 40 points single-handedly. And let's look at the mid-cap and small-cap intradays very briefly. Mid-cap index is up a third, and the small-cap index is up, I mean, it's actually barely up, 0.1% or so. But we are seeing some traction on the higher side on those two as well. Okay, let's talk about rains, I guess, again, and what's happening there. Manisha is here with the roundup. Who's going to tell us not from what's happening from the ground, but essentially from the satellites, right? Yash told us what's happening on the ground.
Sitting in the studios, I saw him. So it's very difficult to be outside today, yes, but there are concerns. The first month is already done in sense of monsoons, and we are 4% on the deficient here. If you look at the breakup, really, if you look at the east and northeast, the deficiency there is much higher at 26%. Central India is looking at a deficiency of 1% as well. Primarily, where you have a good rainfall is really the northwest and the South India. That is where you have seen rainfalls 12 to 20% above normal. But we did see the rains actually cover all of India 15 days ahead of schedule, not without its pauses and delays that we have seen there. But what really is important is what it looks like right now is that the monsoons are back on track. There are forecasts of heavy monsoons in many of the states and cities there. And IMD, of course, is staying pat on the fact that July would see 101% of LPA. And that, of course, is quite assuring there. But Jatin Singh, founder and CEO at SkyMet Weather, also joins us now with his take on this space. Jatin, hi, good to have you. Mumbai clearly has woken up to a very cloudy, dark skies and very heavy rains as well. Let's begin with Mumbai and Maharashtra first on what the forecast here is.
It's going to be, it's going to keep on raining on the coastal side of Maharashtra continuously for the next week or so. And then you will see significant amount of rainfall coming in on the interiors and Vidarbha side around the 6th or 7th. And you have a good spell between, say, the 5th and the 13th. Of July. You know, and Mumbai will be on and off continuously, keep on getting rains, and in a week or so you could also get into some heavy spells.
You know, any quantum that you're looking at the rainfall? Because while, of course, we keep comparing to what happened a few years back, and, you know, it is a high tide day today yet again. So any forecast, especially when it comes to today, tomorrow, day after kinds? I
think it'll be, you know, mostly heavy 65 millimeters plus.
Okay.
You could edge triple digits, but there is a self-limiting thing that also goes on in Mumbai. So it starts reaching 100 plus, and so it slows down, dries up, and then again it goes back up.
Okay. Jatin, I just wanted to come in on a quick question then. On the 29th of August in 2017, last year, we had over 200 millimeters of rain, if I'm not mistaken, around 230. Yes. So that's not the same situation that we're facing right now, in today or in the next few days.
You know, you could edge 200, but after that, I said it's self-limiting. So the kind of rainfall that you saw last time, the kind of chaos is when it starts reaching 300. And there were two events in Mumbai last year that came to about 300 millimeters of rainfall. You know, I don't think this is one of those, but I'll keep you posted if it is.
The upper end of this 200 forecast, is it for which day specifically?
That's a tough one, right?
Okay, but Jatin,
so you could have one of these, events till the 7th of July.
All right, get that. Jatin, also coming on the rest of India, because with June done and we have a bit of a deficiency here, July and August are more critical months. How are you standing on these 2 months in sense of numbers?
See, okay, now we are sticking to our forecast. July is supposed to be good. So far, I think there is a continuous rainfall spell at least to the 13th of July. And if you look at the IMD month-long forecast, though I'm not sure about how good it is because it has to be tested over a long period of time, they're showing the month-long forecast showing a rainfall spell up until 26th July. So that should be good if it sustains. But there is something else that we are watching. The ENSO Pacific has heated up much faster than originally thought. It's already 4 regions are 0.5, 0.4, 0.4, and minus 0.1. These are dangerously close to El Nino levels, and if they sustain, you could have a problem. Models are not showing that right now, but I would say the monsoon, the normal monsoon forecast is right now on a wire. So we'll have to see how July goes.
Are you giving a caution here, really? I mean, are you saying that this perhaps would not be a normal monsoon, that we might see a decline from the current numbers?
I'm right now placing my bets on a normal monsoon. That is unequivocal.
But with a caution.
Yeah, but there is something, there are developments that, see, these things are dynamic, and there's a development that has happened. But there is something called the memory of water. If that sustains, that is the forecast in a winter for monsoon should sustain it through monsoon, and the forecast of monsoon within monsoon is less reliable than the ones before, but it's less reliable. It's not perfect. So we'll have to see. But the fact is that ENSO has warmed up, and you have a situation in which the ENSO warms up, then you have cyclones coming up in the Pacific, which have already started, and if the cyclones start appearing on a regular basis on the Pacific, then the monsoon flow, the southwesterly flow weakens. That is what we saw in 2015.
And when would that happen? Do you see that happen in August? I mean, is there
I can't say. Manisha, I can't say, but this is, as I said, these are risk and threat assessments. You cannot make a concrete, it's not a guess, but these are, how do I say, these are synoptic signals that are there that are contrary to what the computing is telling us. And all I'm telling everybody is that you need to be mindful of it. Nonetheless, still rest your bets on a normal monsoon.
All right, I think we'll have to keep coming back to you, Jatin. And as you said, as you assured us that as and when you have an update, you will let us know. So we will count on that.
Absolutely.
As of now, of course, the next few days do look good when it comes to the monsoons. But the other part really is about the sowing, and Kunal Shah now joins us to talk about that. Kunal, hi. The initial NCML report says that the Kharif crop this time could be slightly less than what we saw in the previous year, given where the monsoons are. But there has been a delay in sowing as well. If you have seen the report, what are you picking up from that? And is there really a concern when it comes to the croppage this time?
No, I don't think so. It's a big concern right now because we've seen during many seasons where the sowing in the initial phase have not picked up, and after this kind of rains what we have been witnessing from last 10-12 days, especially in Maharashtra, then the sowing picks up. So the initial drop in sowing should not be a major worry for any of the crops right now, and I think that you get a better picture during the mid-July or during the late July, where you come to know that this is the status of sowing. And that is the time you take a call. At that time, the sowing is bad as compared to the previous year. Then you can take a call that particular crops are going to be bad and you are going to see prices shooting up. But this is not the right time to assess that, and I don't think so it's a major worry.
Just one more question, Kunal, and this is about the numbers. Again, I'm quoting from NCML, because in pulses, it shows 17% decline in soybean. In oil seeds, it shows 21% jump in the sowing there. Are we looking at a trend here?
Yes, I think it's. I have not gone through the report of NCMSL, but if that is the case, then pulses, it's not a good news.
Okay, Kunal, we'll have to let you go at that. Thank you so much for joining us. So clearly the monsoon where we got in with an assurance that would be a normal one really seems to be waning away. And same is the case in some sense with sowing numbers as well, all over the place as we see it right now.
Okay, all right, Manisha. Thanks very much for that. Need to take a break with the news that the Nifty is back at 10,700. So we'll do one thing. We'll discuss this with Ashwini on the other side. Stay tuned.